let's start our meeting. First item on our agenda is the approval of minutes from February.
I'll move that we approve those minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, those minutes are approved. Thank you, Janet.
Yep. Approve.
Thank you.
Next
Next item on our agenda. Good evening, Emmanuel. It's nice to see you here. Is our ADA self-evaluation and transition plan update.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks, everyone. Nice to see you all again. I think it's been almost a month since the kickoff meeting at your last meeting. So I'm here today to share a few updates on the project and also
Jean.
Janet,
and also
do you have a question?
No, I just noticed
Okay.
that Jean just popped in.
Oh, hi, Jean.
Hi, I was stuck in waiting land.
Oh,
No worries. Jennifer
Thank
was
you.
gonna run things if you didn't make it. so
Okay.
you're here.
glad you're here.
so I'm here today just to share a few updates from about the project since our last meeting, and just to talk a little more about the public survey. So starting with updates, as you can imagine, it's been a difficult month to inspect outdoor facilities with so much snow. So, but luckily we're getting a phenomenal week, which means that we're starting our building audits tomorrow. So tomorrow, my colleague Tejo will be in downtown Concord inspecting about 4 or 5 buildings. And then on Wednesday in West Concord, inspecting about 3 or 4 more facilities. So I think we'll be getting 8 of the 9 buildings inspected by the end of the day on Wednesday. The last remaining building will be the light department, and that one will be audited along with the outdoor facilities in a couple weeks. We still need the snow to melt a little more and avoid any snow on parking spaces and sidewalks and walkways. So we should be back before the end of the month to evaluate the outdoor facilities. At our last meeting, I mentioned I presented you the core team members. There is one slight change to our crew, and I showed in the last meeting that Mark Simonen would be the auditor for the facilities. Last week, his wife, who was due with twins, the twins came a little early, so we're replacing. He's a father of 2, very busy at the moment. So we're replacing.
Good for him.
Very good for him. So we're replacing Mark with Tejo, and she is as phenomenal as Mark. So her name is Tejo Matre. She is a senior architect here in our office, and she'll be the one who, if you folks are around tomorrow and Wednesday, she'll be the one auditing the buildings. So that's it in terms of project updates regarding audits. I also would like to let you know that we are about to start our website, our digital accessibility review. So Jessica shared a few updates on the top 5 web pages on the town's website. So we're going to start the review of those tomorrow morning, and also contact for each one of the applications and platforms that we need to review for digital accessibility as well. And we'll be reaching out to those starting tomorrow.
Andrew, you have a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you
Comment.
could tell us a little bit about how you're doing those evaluations for the websites.
Yes. So we have a team member here, Julie Garland, who is our website guru. And she will be, I think the request was for the town to identify the top 5, the most visited web pages. So there is a proprietary digital accessibility tool that we use to evaluate, and I can share Andrew, I can share a few examples of previous projects where what we will produce is about a 8 to 10 page memo with the major deficiencies that we see on the website. So those could be lack of color, contrast between background and text. Those could be images without alt text,
Yep.
and web pages without the proper organization for screen readers.
Yeah. Yeah. So you say it's a proprietary tool. It's a tool that your company has developed, or it's someone else's tool?
It's someone else's tool. Yeah. And I can share that information with you. I don't know the top of my head what
That'd be
tool.
great. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. So that work starts this week, starts tomorrow morning, and yeah, we'll have more at the next meeting. Also, the next meeting, I think, would be if the timing is right for you, we could present some of the preliminary findings and preliminary recommendations from this week's building audits. So we can share some photos, give you an idea of what we'll be seeing this week.
That sounds great. Yes.
Phenomenal. And then we have the public survey. As I mentioned at the last meeting, we have 3 surveys. We have the admin survey, which is to be completed by Jessica.
I'm
It's
80% done on that. Should be
perfect.
coming
Yeah.
very soon.
No hurry.
A lot of questions.
Yeah, a lot of questions, a lot of attachments, right? Because we were requesting information like the ADA public notice, the grievance procedure, copies of certain policies and procedures. So we understand it's a lot of work, Jessica. Take your time. We still have some time to start reviewing those. The second set of surveys, it's surveys for all the department heads. Jessica, I don't think I shared that with you yet, and I'll do that after this call. This is intended, it's similar to your survey, Jessica, but it's really geared towards getting a better understanding of how department heads, their awareness on accessibility, the policies and procedures that they have in place in their departments on ADA compliance. And as I mentioned at the last meeting, this is not a gotcha survey. This is really intended for us at KMA to get a better understanding how the town operates. There's no grading. And I also mentioned that information is confidential. We're not sharing the responses from the department heads because we see that as confidential information related to HR. But in the ADA self-evaluation, we are sharing all the questions that were asked asked to the department heads. We share that information with the public in the final document. And then last,
Emmanuel, just
Yes.
real quick. So is that a survey once you send it to me? Like, should I be sending that out now to our department heads so that they can start working on that?
yes.
Okay,
And I
alright.
would suggest, if you want to give them 3 weeks for them to review and complete the
Okay,
survey, that'll be
perfect.
phenomenal. And at the end of each week, I can give you a quick heads up about who responded and who's still left. But basically, as you go to your webpage with all the departments, every single one department should be
Okay,
receiving a copy of that survey, which is a online SurveyMonkey survey.
perfect.
As they complete the survey, I'll be notified of the information. And then last but not least, the public survey. And that I would like to talk to you a little more about that and show a few examples. So the public survey, let me see if I can share my screen. I just sent a request. There we go. Thank you. Here's a link to the public survey. Can you folks see my web browser?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. The public survey is an online survey. There are 5 questions with a little description before before we get to the first question, a little description of what we're doing, what kind of information we're trying to collect. And this is really a survey that is intended to Concord residents, right? This is for all members of the public. I will show you, after we talk about the survey, I'll show you some examples of other municipalities, how they, of their outreach for a survey like this. But the first question is, are there town buildings slash facilities that you have difficulty using? Yes or no? And if yes, please explain why. And this is really, we're talking about facilities and buildings, right? So it could be building structures, could be parks, playgrounds, trails, recycling centers, that kind of thing. This is, these examples may expand, go beyond the list of 8 buildings or 9 buildings that we have for your town. But just to give an example of the type of facility we're asking about.
I have a quick question in this. Sorry, the way that this question is phrased, if you don't mind scrolling up. So where it says buildings and facilities, right, that could be parks, structures. Are we, when it is in fact an improvement, a structure, are we hoping that they will comment not just on the interior of the structure, but the exterior and accessibility of the exterior elements? I know you have like parks and playgrounds, but I'm just wondering if someone would know to comment on maybe the parking lot or, you know, ramps or lack of elevators or something, you know.
Yes. The simple answer is yes. We're hoping to get information about the exterior as well.
Okay.
If it's helpful, I can edit this question to really clarify that.
Just wondering if it says, where it says building structures, maybe saying including like exterior elements, right? That way people are thinking beyond just the improvement itself.
Yep. Yeah, no problem. That's a good suggestion. I can tell you that in previous surveys, usually they come out in February, March. You know, in the winter, a lot of answers or a lot of responses are about parking and snow removal. So people
experienced it firsthand. So yes.
Yeah, most of the respondents are thinking about the exterior portion of these facilities, but that's a great comment. I will add that.
Thank you.
I think there's a question.
I see Andrew also has his hand up.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we'd considered having a question that's a little bit more on point about, you know, access issues to technology, you know, websites, web applications, information service. And I see there's a question that's about, you know, whether whether a disability prevented you from accessing things. It's a very sort of broad question, you know, that's it's the one from getting information about a town program, service, or event, which I guess someone could answer that way. I guess I wonder whether it might be worth being a little bit more specific about it, especially since there's a new regulation that's requiring that we do so.
Yeah, so that's about question number 2. Yeah, we can add digital accessibility as a clarification to this question on getting information about a town program, which, you know, the website is a town program, and but you're right, not everyone knows that.
And could I
mean, and it could even
Sorry.
be in the same question, even if it just said, you know, including, you know, accessing information or services via, you know, a town website or application or mobile app. I don't think we have any mobile apps, but yeah.
Thank you.
Peter's got his hand up as well.
Yeah, sorry. What I was gonna, just a clarification, Manuel, in the initial description up top, should it, I know it says town programs and services, should we sort of emphasize that KMA is evaluating only public facilities, not like the whole town? Do you know what I mean? I don't want people to get their hopes up that, you know, you're out there measuring every sidewalk and street, that kind of thing.
That is a great comment, and one that, now that you mention it, in our previous project, we We had one or two responses about, a pizza place downtown.
Yeah.
That's what I
So,
figured.
yeah.
Just to not to discourage people, but just to tell them the scope is, it's somewhat limited. We're not,
Mhm.
we have to prioritize whatever. I don't know how you'll know how to say it.
Yes, and I'll make this edits. I'll share with Jessica, and you folks can take another look
Thank
before
you.
it
Thank
goes
you.
public.
Yeah. So I have a question as well. You said this is an online survey. Will there be an option for people who either can't fill it out online, don't have access, or would prefer using just a paper kind of survey?
Yes, absolutely. So along with the online survey, we usually recommend our clients to, as they're announcing the public survey, to allow paper copies. I had clients who deliver a bunch of copies at a senior center, at the
Mhm.
library, at City Hall, at Town Hall, and make those available, uh, hard copies available. So yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yep,
Okay,
so I'll
great, thank
probably
you.
place those, Council on Aging. I'll do both
Mhm.
branches of the library. Usually the town clerk's counter and or the treasury counter is usually where
Mhm.
we put things at the townhouse.
Yeah. Yeah, those would be good places.
Perfect. Which is a good segue to question number 3.
Oh,
Do you know?
sorry. I had a
Sorry.
question on
Oh,
number
sorry,
2.
Justine, I missed you.
No,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Oh, yeah, me too. I'm
Um,
sorry, Justine.
No, don't worry. I think Andrew had raised, maybe I don't know who was speaking on number 2. I guess my question is, like, I read this: has the disability prevented you or anyone you know from accessing information? But is there also a question about how are you able to find the information you need on disability accommodations? I know there's a question below on, like, do you know where to go? But, like, is there enough information
Mhm.
on those sites? So not have you just been prevented from accessing it, but if you've accessed it, have you been able to locate meaningful information that has allowed you to better access the community and public spaces?
That's a great comment. And we can have a follow-up. We can keep number 2 and have a follow-up question to
Yeah.
that. Are you able to find useful information you need? Can you complete, Justine? I got
Yeah,
the
I'll
first
send you.
part.
Can I send an email maybe to Jessica and I'll craft something with that?
That'll be great.
Okay. Yeah, because I think for some it might be, I'm going to the town sites, but, like, I'm thinking about, some of the Moose, what was it, that 5K or something, right? I'm like, when there are town events, is there enough information for our
Mhm.
disabled community to participate in a meaningful way? So that
And
would
I
be
can,
good.
perfect. We'll communicate, after this meeting about this question. And I can tell you that in the self-evaluation report, which is the report that precedes the transition plan, we do have some recommendations about accessible events, how to
Mhm.
host accessible events, how to advertise accessible events, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that question could really feed into the information that we share in the
And
recommendation we share about those.
my other question was, do we want to give people the opportunity to self-identify, meaning I identify as a person with a disability, I identify as the legal guardian or caregiver of a person, or I'm an advocate, or I don't identify as someone with a disability, but I have feedback. Is that meaningful?
It is meaningful, but it creates a legal issue
Okay.
where we, as accessibility consultants, are not allowed to make questions about someone's disability. But I can tell you that in our experience, and it's a great question. It's a question that was asked at the last meeting as well. In the past, our experience is that the folks you're talking about are the folks who will be answering this survey. most of the respondents in previous projects were folks with disabilities, were guardians,
Mhm.
loved ones of people with disabilities, people who understand the challenging environment for people with disabilities.
Okay.
Also, the target audience can be tailored by how well the public outreach is for the survey. I'll show you some examples of what previous clients did, but
Mhm.
using social media, using the recommendation for the
Well, I
committee
think like
to reach out.
CPAC and other organizations would be, great
That as
ways
well,
to
yeah.
reach out to.
So technically, we
Yes.
don't ask about someone's if they have a disability or not, but we definitely we see that is the main target audience.
Yeah, I guess I was just concerned about results getting skewed maybe by people in the community that don't have the lived experience, but hopefully they maybe aren't as participatory in this. Jessica and Jean, I guess a question for you in trying to maximize participation. I know you said you can print things out. Is there an opportunity or service within the town where we could maybe have a day where, folks that might not be able to complete a paper form or do it online can call a phone number, right? And have someone input their responses for them? Is that anything we've ever done?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I'm not going to rule it out, but it would require some, logistical thought. Maybe, a couple of hours window we could possibly do.
Yeah.
Or I can also speak to, the Council on Aging, if maybe they have a way that they could do like a drop in there. And, I can try to noodle it and come up with
Yeah.
something. It's just obviously figuring out who would man the phone line, and then if it's one line and we get overwhelmed with responses,
Yeah.
we learned that pretty quickly with the 250th information line. We had to have like 5 extensions when we ran that because there was so many
wow,
people
yeah.
calling.
Yeah.
Which I hope we get a response like that to this survey, but we'll see.
So Andrew has a question, and then Peter. Andrew, you're muted.
Yeah, Janet had her hand up before I did it.
Oh.
And since I've got mine, I don't need to hold my hand physically up for this. So let Janet go before me.
Thank you. Actually, you may have just answered my question, but I may have missed this, but how are people going to get this survey?
So our
Is this
communications,
for the town or just for a targeted audience?
it's for anybody that uses programs in Concord. So our communications manager is going to get it out on the website, do a communication on it, probably through like Concord Currents. If you haven't signed up for that online newsletter, I highly recommend it. It's great. I know that when I met with Adrienne last week, she's willing to get it out to the CPAC group. And then also the school department, I expect, will be able to send it out for us as well to all of the listservs for the student and parent emails that they have. So
how would people like to get it? How would I get this?
You could certainly pick up a paper copy at either town clerks, Council on Aging, library, both locations. Those are places we talked about putting some paper copies for people.
But say I wasn't on this committee and didn't know about the survey. I'm just a stay-at-home old person. And how do I find out that there's a survey, and how do I get the information?
Can I give a thought on that?
Yep.
All of us are connected in one way or another with segments of the disability community. And I think in addition to the town, it's our individual responsibility to try to reach out to those groups or individuals that we think might be interested in completing the survey.
I would think
It's
everybody in
online
town
or paper. I'm sorry, go ahead, Janet.
I interrupted you. I would think everybody in town should be interested in completing the survey. Because, as my husband used to say, we are temporarily able-bodied.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So I think that everybody should be interested in it. And if I weren't on this committee, I don't know how I would know about the survey.
Well, again, it will be communicated through our electronic forums, through the website.
Yeah, but I'm just a stay-at-home old person. I don't use electronics.
Right. So if you come to the COA at all,
No,
or if you
no.
know somebody that goes,
No,
yeah.
I just stay at home and drink tea.
Could we
So
publish?
how do I get, but I'm interested in the survey, so how do I get it?
Jessica?
Are you reaching out to people who are over 70, say, to get them to take the survey? Because those are the people, a lot of those people are impacted by this. They're
Um,
using wheelchairs, they're using, whatever. I'm just,
yeah, we weren't doing a targeted mailing. Oh, that's a good idea, Justine. So Justine said putting something in the bridge, which might be
Yes.
part of our communications
Mhm.
director. She might
Mhm.
send like
Yeah,
a
that would be
press
a good
release to
idea.
them. So
yeah. I would think that an article in the bridge would be a good idea,
Mhm.
that you were doing it.
Yeah, I could go in the Action Unlimited too. That's free.
Mhm.
Okay, let's move on to Andrew.
All
And
right.
then Peter and then Robert.
I had a comment again about number 2. I think we need to change the language because as it's written, it sort of suggests that people don't have access because they are disabled, as opposed to because of limitations in the websites themselves. So maybe instead of has a disability prevented you from getting information about a town program, instead, it would say something like, if you or a family member or someone you support has had trouble getting information about a town have you had trouble getting information from a town program or something, just so that it's not blaming the user for their
Mhm.
disability and suggesting that that's the cause of their lack of access.
Yeah, absolutely. We can work on that. And I think that's similar to what Justine mentioned as well. So yeah, we'll craft this language, and I can see how it can be slightly problematic the way we're answering, but we're asking that question here in number 2.
Yep. Great.
Peter? Did we lose you, Peter?
Sorry. I was going to say this isn't really a comment for you, Emmanuel, but I'm thinking a lot of churches in town like ours have a disability commission. I personally will reach out to all of them. I know Karem Shalom has one. So there are probably a bunch of different ways we can reach out
Mhm.
as commission members who, are constituencies, and then just encourage people, please go fill this out. Please go to the website. So that was all I was going to say.
That's great.
Okay, that would be really helpful. And Robert, do you have a question or comment?
You're muted.
You're muted, Robert.
Okay. First, I want to apologize for being late. My Uber driver got lost and
Oh, no.
only speaks Portuguese.
oh my.
So that was, anyway, I'm here. I came to 55 Wheeler Street, Church Street, no less, and the meeting is all virtual. Okay, enough of that. So I think there's a number of people who are low verbal, who don't read. And if they do read, it's not going to be what we think it is in the bridge. So I could give, my wife is not low verbal, but I just know her habits. If I said, you need to go on the town website, she'd say, oh, how do you do that? And I happen to know, but she wouldn't know. It's just an example of, yesterday she had to get on Social Security and she had forgotten how to do that. So I walked her through it. Diane has her master's degree. She's a 30-year teacher. And, just not on her radar, those things. And so I don't think she's alone in that. I think there's a number of people who are isolated, who aren't necessarily online.
Mhm.
And so I think I'm not sure how to solve it. I know, and I could tell when I came in that you're working on that. I just don't think there's a good solution. at least that I see, unless there's a widely announcement that would encourage people to do this, and the website has to be easy to get to. If it's, if there's layers to get to the questionnaire, there's people who will be able to do it, but we're going to miss people.
That's a good point. I can tell you that recently our clients have relied heavily on social media. But we had clients in the past who, in addition to the digital version of this survey, they had posters all over town. Somerville is an example. When they did this back in, 2014, they 80,000. It's a 80,000 people city. They received something like 500 responses, and there were flyers everywhere. They had high school students stopping folks at every park, asking for their input. It was probably one of the highest number of responses I've ever seen in a city, but it took a lot of work and a lot of foot traffic and help from high school students with the paper copies. And I remember this well because I was the one who had to stop by the ADA coordinator's office and grab 2 boxes of paper copies and had to scan all of them. Definitely a little more work than the digital version, but it's doable. So I think flyers can be a good way, and taking advantage of an event and have students who volunteer and have plenty of paper copies.
Social media, I like that idea too.
And I'll show you some examples here next. I have some good examples from 2 past clients. And last but not least, I just want to go over quickly questions 3 and 4, which are very similar. One is how to request materials in alternate formats. If folks have to request large print or even Braille at the library, for example, do they know how to request this? Or how to request, who to go to request an accommodation. If they need assistive listening systems or interpreters for a certain event or town meeting, do they know how to reach someone and request that information? So those 2 questions got a lot of good responses from people with disabilities. And any other comments on accessibility? This is an example where I said we get a lot of comments about parking, about transportation. This is sometimes where people vent about private businesses in town, so I really like the suggestion to clarify that we're only looking at town facilities in the introduction. But really, and then some shout outs, sometimes we get residents who say, hey, I think the ADA coordinator is doing a phenomenal job. The town is not perfect, but they're doing a phenomenal job. But snow removal can be a pain in the neck, so this is the question that we get a lot of good qualitative answers, and we use that information to sprinkle some information in the self-evaluation report. Right. So, for example, if we recommend to the town for the town to adopt a new policy on snow removal, we bring information, some responses from this question into the report. I think there's a question.
Justine has a
I was about to put it in the chat. I know question 5 is kind of a blanket statement, but for question 4, could we follow up with a question that says what services would allow you to better access town services and events?
For number 4?
Yeah. I don't know if folks think that would be helpful, but that might give us some insights where, to ask, people, where could we do better? Or what services would they benefit from?
Yeah. Justine, would you see that as another question, a separate question?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
following 4, right?
Mhm.
So 4, we asked, do you know how to request it? And then maybe they say yes, right? But then what additional services would allow you to better access, town events
Okay.
and services?
Yep, absolutely. So any other questions or comments about the, we'll now have 6 questions in the public survey, which is still a phenomenal number. I think anything more than 7 questions and, more than 10 minutes to complete a survey diminishes our, the number of respondents. So I think 6 questions is still really good.
You should never ask this group if we have more thoughts, Emmanuel, because we're all opinionated.
No, this is why we're here, right? To make sure that we get the best type of responses here.
Thank you.
So I have a few examples to share. Now that we're all set with the questions, let's talk a little bit about outreach.
Sorry, Emmanuel, I have one
Oh, yeah.
quick question for you.
Go ahead.
So where a lot of these responses are free form text and not kind of like a grading scale of how well are we doing, how do you and your team then kind of aggregate these responses where, there could be quite a spectrum of responses, right, for any one question so that it's actionable for this committee? Or
That's
the
a great
town?
question. Let me share an example of that. Let me see if I can find the document, the right screen. Here it is. So this is what the results look like or looked like for the city of Watertown. This is, for them, it was a 1-page summary in their self-evaluation report with a summary of all the public survey responses, right? So for example, we explained that the survey was shared in English and 4 other languages: Chinese, Spanish, Portuguese, Haitian, Creole. They received 106 responses. Here's a copy of the survey announcement and then a link, which I'll show you in a second, how their outreach happen in Watertown. And then here the answers to the questions. So for example, 69% of the respondents noted the cities that they had difficulty using buildings and facilities, or 75% of the respondents noted they had difficulty getting information about a city program, service, or event. So we share some the percentages of the responses. We also pick up on themes or topics. For example, many respondents noted sidewalks as barriers that are uneven, cracked, missing completely, or walk signals that were too short and not audible enough. So we pick up some of the more qualitative answers from number 5 and provide that information here. So sometimes all about parking, sometimes all about snow removal, sometimes all about transportation. Here as well, folks that was a very interesting response that I made sure to include in the report. Folks mentioning that there was not enough seats available for people with physical disabilities in public events. They were requesting the city to pay more attention to adaptive programming for children in the autism spectrum, even like quiet, sensory-friendly spaces at events. I would never know about that if that was, someone had the time to participate in the survey. That's the kind of thing that could fall through the cracks in a project like this, where we are auditing buildings and not really talking to residents, and evaluating the website. So the survey is really great for this kind of information. And then we also, I think, developed
Will we
some.
have access to the raw data too
Yes.
from the survey? Like, I know
Yes.
SurveyMonkey gives output, so
Yes.
that'll be something. Okay.
Yeah.
And what is a statistically meaningful response rate for the town?
there's really no line on the sand about it. It's really, if for example here, if 71 and 78% of the residents who participated don't know how to ask for information, that had something to say about the availability of information online, or
Yeah, I guess, but if you have 10 respondents, like, I guess I just meant like, what is our goal for a response rate? Like, is it hundreds? Is it below 100? I don't know if there's like a target response rate for this.
Not really. I think
Okay.
for a town like Concord, I would say at least 50 respondents.
Okay.
But Watertown had 106. That was, and I'll show you some what they did to get 106. But I would say at least 50 would be a good number.
What's the population of Watertown?
30,000, 40,000. Hold on, let me do a quick Google search.
Bigger than
how
Concord.
many did we get? Did you get?
24,000, 106 responses.
35,000 in Watertown.
35,000?
And Concord is,
half that.
18,000. So yeah, I would say at least 50 with good outreach would be a good number to have. Let me show you. Okay, so let me stop sharing this and I'll go back to the website.
106 is just a very low rate of return.
That's what I was raising my hand for. It
Yeah, I see
seems
you,
like a
Jen.
self-selecting audience.
Sorry, can you repeat the question, Janet?
That's why I was raising my hand frantically. It seems like a self-selecting audience. It seems like it's not typical of the town, it's typical of the audience. That's why I wondered about how you get out the survey. Because you don't send it to everybody in town. And it would seem like that would be a fairer evaluation.
Yeah, I don't know how much it costs the town to reach out to every single resident. I can tell here in my town, in Melrose, it costs about $7,000 to send mailers to every single one of the 30,000 residents. We know that from the proposition 2.5 last summer. That is the type of effort that it takes to reach out to every single resident.
What we have in Watertown is around 5% or less.
Yeah. Jennifer has a question or comment.
Most people who don't feel like they have a relationship to disability will ignore this. And so the population of a town is not indicative of the people that we're trying to communicate with. So I think it's going back to Jean's point, unless we're prepared, and even I think even if it gets in the mail and everyone was mailed a copy of this, it wouldn't necessarily increase the visibility as much as we would hope it would. So Emmanuel's point about having volunteers and folks standing in front of Crosby's, for an afternoon with surveys, or standing outside of church on Sunday morning with surveys. I think if we are committed to getting as many surveys as we can, I think we have to look for people. That's part of disability service, right? Like, I just think casting a wide net and hoping for the best is probably not going to get us what we want, no matter what. So I would just put my 2 cents in for trying to find some public service hours from kids at the high school and see if we can't get some paper copies into their hands and make some suggestions. I can reach out to see, I have a high schooler So I'm happy to reach out to them and try to coordinate, Jess, if that's okay. Hopefully that can go a little ways. It won't get us all the way, but I'm happy to do that.
Even
I
if
also-
we have them give out like postcard size squares, like Emmanuel, will this have a QR code as well?
It not from us, but it can have
It's
one
easy to make.
as
That's a great
it's
idea.
announced on the website. Yeah.
That's a really
Okay,
good idea.
because that might be a good way, for high schoolers or whoever. I mean, if somebody goes to a local church, you can put like a stack of, the flyers with the QR code or what have you too. So,
Mhm.
I was
I'm
just
happy
gonna-
to reach out to the superintendent to find out how I even
Mhm.
get high school kids. But again, the COA might be a good resource as well, because they might have volunteers that they know often who the folks are that don't get out of their homes. So
I could probably round up some volunteers here who would be willing to canvass an area if we, think about areas in Concord where a lot of people not or a reasonable number of people with disabilities might live or work or somehow be connected. We can get some of our folks. I'm sure they would love being part of this. And Peter has a question or comment.
Yeah, no, I was just going to point out, I know the participation rate seems low, but at the last night of town meeting, there were 518 people out of 18,500, and it was the highest night of participation. So there's no way around the fact this is going to be a self-selecting group of interested parties, and we just need to get the word out to all of them, at least.
Yeah. No, great point.
Just
And
saying.
I don't know if anyone has any contact with folks from the Emerson umbrella.
Yeah, no, I can already feel my flyer campaign is I can already like Crosby's, the umbrella. We should send stuff to Concord Green. There are a bunch of places we could just reach out to.
Yeah.
And as you reach out, I think ideally this public survey would be available for 4 weeks, and then we'll start analyzing the results. And with any survey, you announce it, and then a week later you announce it again. Then 2 weeks later you announce it again. Hey, we only have a week left. So it's just not a one-time thing, right? It's just constant reminders, as many as possible, in many forums as possible. Here's another example, or one example of just an announcement on the town's website. This is Martha's Vineyard, population 400. They got 35 responses, so very high for a 400 person little town. We got a lot of good feedback in this project, in the survey. Here's another way, talking about social media, right? So this is how Watertown announced it on their Facebook page. This is the City of Watertown official Facebook page. They actually had someone from they have a very robust PR department. So I happened to be at City Hall in Watertown auditing a building, and this is me opening doors, measuring things, and not the best angle. I would recommend taking pictures of me, but they followed me and they made this article about, we're starting this project. We got a grant from the state government. You hire KMH, you audit the building. Oh, by the way, we invite everyone to complete the survey on ADA compliance. So, and then, if you prefer a complete paper copy, or if you need assistance completing, there's information about the ADA coordinator. There is descriptions, image descriptions, 10 photos of people measuring doors, steps, ramps, and handrails. So even the outreach is already talking to people with disabilities. Very well done. Another example, let me go back. In addition to this post, I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear the sound, but let me play and someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound.
City of Watertown recently received a grant from the Massachusetts Office on Disabilities. This grant city to analyze both its physical structures, City Hall, Parker School Building, police and fire buildings, DPW, etc., as well as to evaluate programmatic access in our programming. That means accessible agendas, accessible meetings, accessible programs through the Recreation Department, through Veteran Services, through the City Clerk's Office. Part of this gigantic survey is really to hear from the public, because the
Oh, I did hear it. Now it went away.
Yeah.
So we have Minuteman Media Network. They could maybe do
Yeah,
something
that's
like
where
the
my mind
scripts.
was just went.
Yeah, they're always looking for fun and interesting things to record for us. So I'll reach out to Julie and ask her.
That's great. And Jessica, I think you have this resources, so you got an idea of the script and the kind of things that might be helpful sharing as well. But yeah, if you have this media group who can help, that'll be great.
Jessica, if they're interested and like want to like follow somebody around for a day, like if they want content or video or whatever, I don't know if we'd want to. I mean, I'd raise my hand quickly and have them follow Alden and I around trying to navigate an area. You know, it's nice to be able to see things that we can obviously. I'm sure they have a ton of video footage that they could pull from. But
All right, great. Thank you, Laura.
And Jessica, here's the QR code, an example of the online flyer that Watertown created, and you can have a version of that in paper format if you want to have a flyer posted in facilities and events. But yeah, this is sort of an example of what Watertown did to get 106 responses. I've been part of ADA surveys for the public for the Logan Airport, and with hundreds, thousands of people's coming through the airport every single day, they also got 110 surveys. Yeah, my experience in the air and this the first 2 weeks they only had the survey in paper format and also online, but also paper format pre-security. And I don't know about you, but when I go to the airport, I'm always anxious pre-security. I'm less anxious when I find my gate and I'm able to wait. Pre-security is not a good time to be asking folks to participate in surveys. So they duplicated the survey to the secured side, and we got 110. But that's Boston Logan, 5 different terminals. So again, I think if you get 50 really good responses from folks who have experience navigating buildings and looking for programs and requesting accommodations, we'll be able to extract really good information for the self-evaluation report.
Okay, and Robert has a question or comment. You're muted, Robert.
Thank you. I'm not a social media person. I don't have a Facebook account, for example, but there are those who do have them. So I guess I wonder if there's someone who knows enough about those kinds of things that might help to, attract people to understand that there's a survey and here's the link to it. And that's the extent of my.
Yeah, I'm a member of like the Concord community groups on Facebook, so I'd be happy to share the links. And then, I think even if we were to potentially see if like the parent teacher groups in their blast would share it, because they might reach not only the students, but maybe there's a parent or someone in town that they might be able to share it with, right? And just kind of broadening that reach.
there's also like the special programming in town. Like we should make sure that the Pathways teachers and the Bridge program teachers and they blast it out, because those are the people who are going to be most likely to respond with applicable feedback. I was also thinking about how do we partner with like Minuteman ARC programming and perhaps even have people who could like sit down and support the completion of a survey as needed.
Yeah, we can
Because those
definitely
without
take care of that.
cognitive, like that cognitive disability should not be a barrier to providing feedback. And my mind also went to Art for All Concord is a nice gathering space where you're going to have, a meeting with probably 15 young adults and who are all going to be in a room doing art for an hour, and handing a survey around would be get, maybe 50% response or something, which would be great.
Great idea, Lou.
Mhm.
I'm happy to try to target one of the Art for All, but I don't know if people already know individuals involved.
My son attends, so I'd be happy to do the Art for All outreach.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and I can round up people at Minuteman ARC. No problem there.
So let's talk a little bit about time frame. In a perfect world, we would have this public survey ready to be announced on the website, flyers printed, outreach figured out in the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure if that's feasible or not. It would be great to get this survey out before the end of the month, so that then we give the public 3-4 weeks, and I'll be ready to use the responses as I start writing the self-evaluation report by the end of April.
So, question, is there any concern from members of this commission that certain, portions of the population might be out of state for winter months and therefore not available to respond? I mean, I'm thinking for paper version, web-based or social-based communication.
I mean, probably that would affect anybody with paper communication, but anybody that is, out of state that's on our Facebook or subscribes to Concord Kernels, things like that, or even gets the Bridge. I mean, the Bridge has the electronic version as well. I want to hope that people keep in touch when they're away for the winter. But, the other thing too is, given our tight turnaround time, like to delay it until the snowbirds start coming back, will just get us.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the question, so at least we contemplated it.
Yeah. I think that timeline's reasonable. I mean, depending on when you can get us the survey back with the edits we talked about, Emmanuel, I mean, we can get it live on our website probably even this week, as we then work through getting flyers made, the QR code set up, getting things delivered. So, but even if, we get it on the website and it's another week before it gets out via these other methods, at least it's out there. So I think that's doable.
So I'm out on a site visit Wednesday and Thursday. So realistically, by Friday, I can get the edited, especially if I get Justine's comments.
I'm going to send it in the chat right now.
Oh, perfect. And I'll copy those. So yeah, definitely by Friday morning, I can get those to you. But yeah, no, it makes sense to get it online first, and then you got a little bit more time to look at other methods. When is your next commission meeting in April?
April, assuming we go with our usual,
it would be April 9th. That's the second Thursday of the month.
So the survey, by that point, an online survey might be out for 2 to 3 weeks. I think that's a good milestone for this group. I can review how many responses we have by the next meeting. We can take a look at some of the responses that are coming, and maybe that's a little a time where after that meeting there can be like a more another push for outreach. So the survey will not be done by our next meeting, but close enough to the end that there are things actions that can happen to get more respondents if that's what we need.
I want to be optimistic that Concord residents will give a good response to this. Yeah, I just think back to like the issue with the amenities building and the handicapped issues that were discussed with that. Like there was just a huge amount of people. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be optimistic. I think we can beat Watertown.
Let's do it.
I think so too, Jess. Again, if each of us reaches out to the various constituencies that we connect with, we should be able to get a good response.
So can we, because we're not allowed to trade correspondence between meetings, can we just make a list of who is going to take the lead on kind of publishing or reaching out to specific outlets? Or like if we're going to do the bridge, like I said, I'm happy. I know we've got, did she drop? Like I'm happy to liaise with CPAC as well as the PTGs, and like I said, post on the community forum on Facebook. I can take those leads if that would be helpful.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great, Justine. And I think you were on at the beginning, but yeah, I've been talking with Adrian as well. So between the two of us,
I'll connect with her directly. I think she had to drop. So
okay.
Laura, can we do a bridge publication? Is that?
Yeah, our communications person can definitely do that.
Why don't we go through the communications one? I'd be curious what like tone that has, and then I have finally connected with Dakota, and we're planning on connecting either tomorrow or Wednesday for more of like Wednesday. Just got the text. We're going to talk on Wednesday to potentially do something like a more like personal piece about why joining the Disability Commission, and then but I think it could speak to this, right? I think it could be another in.
Yeah, and Andrew put a note in the chat. I think that's great. We can certainly do a letter to the editor. I'm going to be out of commission for a week, but I can do a letter next week. Andrew, did you have another question? Or
no, it was just
or one of you can write a letter.
So I realized that when we can only chat with you or Jessica, so I told you, but I was just saying that if Jean wrote a letter to the editor, it could be very short and quick, basically saying we're doing this, we're collecting some information, here's the link, and we can make it even shorter, that do a bit.ly link so that it's even easier for people to type in if whatever makes sense. And then I think the other thing too is that while it's great having one of us do the point on social media, really amplification of that is going to be the main thing. So for the rest of us who are on social media, we just need to, share it, like it, send it around to other people, because the 100 people that I know in town are different than the 100 people someone else knows in town, and we can get better coverage.
Yeah.
So Jessica, if I created a post, could you then email the commission to say Justine's posted on? Can you please share? Like, are you able to send that type of communication outside of our formal
absolutely
meetings?
I can share anything for information purposes. We just can't engage in conversation. So once a link is out there, I can say, hey, heads up, here's the link here. I can send the link from our town page, the website, whatever. I'll just start funneling it. But I mean, Andrew's spot on. It's like 100 people here, 100 people there. Everybody knows 100 people. It'll go viral, I think, pretty quickly.
Yeah. And then Jessica, in order to have that post be comprehensive, could you send me maybe a list of places that we will definitively have like hard copies should people want to pick them up?
Yep. Right now I'm thinking senior center, both branches of the library, the town clerk's office. And I think I'm also going to put some at Hunt Recreation as well, because they have a lot of foot traffic coming through there. And recreation ties into what I had talked about with Adrian last week in terms of accessibility to their programs and things like that. So I would do those, well, 4, but technically 5 locations, because the library's too.
I'm thinking also the Beatty Center.
Oh, yes.
And then I think, what about the Council on Aging? Do we have someone that's going to take
Yep,
that.
that's one of my divisions, so I'll
That's
talk with
interesting.
Dan and see what we can do over there. In fact, recreation is too, recreation and council on
Yeah.
aging, both of mine, so.
Okay. And then I think Jennifer said that she would reach out to the high school for volunteers, right?
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
I'm just jotting
Yeah,
this.
and I'll cover Minuteman Arc, of course, and I can also do Concord Green.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then was it it wasn't
I can
Robert or
Art for All and Jean, I was thinking of Sunday Fellowship at
West
Con-
Concord Union Church.
I could-
Yes.
yeah. And Peter said you'd take the churches too, right, Peter?
Yeah, that's what. See, that's what I'm thinking. The other thing, at First Parish, at least, you have to emphasize these surveys are short because people will say, "Oh, I'll do the survey," and then they'll think, "Oh, it's one of those 5-page
Yeah.
and they won't do it." So if you just say it's a short survey, 5 questions, whatever, and we do that at coffee hour. We have these tables out at coffee hour after service. So
Peter, do you want to do all of the churches or do you want, I'm willing to reach out to West Concord Union Church.
yeah, if you would do that, I can reach out to at least First Parish and then Karem Shalom, and I think well, who else is there? There's the Holy Family,
Yeah, there's Tricon.
Tricon, and
I
the
think-
Episcopal Church.
Yeah, also Melissa Tustin, who runs the Sunday Fellowship program at West Concord Union Church, is very connected with all the other ministers and the rabbi, and certainly could help at the churches that you don't have a connection to.
Sure, and maybe we could email each other or something. I'm happy to go out and just
I will
deliver
connect you
flyers.
with Reverend Melissa Tustin.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Magnolia works with the DEI Commission as well, so we can get stuff to
Great.
DEI Commission through her or even me as well. So
Or Emmanuel, there's steam coming out of his ears now because we've got like 500 results or something.
No, this is music to my ears. This is the more the merrier. I think go for it. And for my clients next year, I want to show Concord what you did to get, a high number of responses. So go for it. Justine, I noticed that the chat function is disabled for me. So if you're typing anything for me, I can't see it.
I can see them, but I'll cut and paste these into an email.
Thank you.
We have all these lockdowns on our Zoom because of all the crazy people that want to spam us. So Justine, just to clarify, I've got the question, what additional services would allow you to better access town events and services?
Yeah.
And I've got the revision to question 2.
Yep.
Okay.
So that first one was like a follow on from question 4.
Yeah. And Robert has his hand up.
Thank you. Do you know when the link will be available?
As soon as Emmanuel finalizes it and gets it to me.
Yeah, Friday.
Probably Friday.
And Jessica, I would ask you to take another look and maybe, I don't know if you can share with everyone just for a final pass, or if you will trust the edits. But yeah, you have my work by Friday morning.
I would, so I am about to, a week from tomorrow, I'm going to go on a 2-month cruise. So I'd like to do something. Perhaps I can write the letter to the editor on the bridge.
Sure, it'll get there faster if you do it, because I'm down for the count for a week at least.
But I think that if he sends it in, they're gonna call him to check on it, I think. Will so if you're going on a cruise tomorrow, you won't be around to take those questions from them.
A week from tomorrow.
Oh, a week from tomorrow, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. Okay.
And how would I sign it?
I think you can just put your name and member of the
Member.
Commission on Disabilities.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that.
Thanks,
I'm
Robert.
gonna make one more comment and then I promise not to talk again. But wouldn't it be better if he put I as a member of the rather than signing it in a way that sort of implies that he's speaking for the commission? I would put it in the body of the text. I'm just thinking of form. Do you have a comment on that, Jean?
So you're suggesting instead of signing it,
Yeah.
Robert Simon, a member of the commission, that he just put into the body of the letter.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm writing as a member of the Commission on Disabilities and.
Yeah. It doesn't look as official. I'm just my thought.
Okay. All right. Robert's gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny.
Robert, if you want to just copy me on whatever you send to the bridge too, that way if they don't run it for some reason and then you're gone, I can try to follow up with Dakota and hunt down, whoever I need to find to get it to print. So otherwise, if he's responding and you're not there to get it, then it might just die in the breeze and that would be bad.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll be able to get phone calls, but it's nice to have that backup, Jessica.
Yeah.
I'm just jealous you're doing a 2-month cruise.
Retirement's a good thing.
Can't wait.
So that's what I have in terms of the survey. This is phenomenal. I'm really happy that you folks are all on board with getting as many responses as possible. Anything you need from me after we have the link, and let me know. If you need any help with outreach, let me know. Jessica, I sent you some examples that before, but yeah, count on me for anything you need between now and when the survey is released. And when it's released, please, copy me on links, and I'd love to take a look at those as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have the Adobe Express and can do a QR code, that would be super helpful. We can probably figure out how to do it, but I'll screw it up.
I'm
I think
happy.
somebody
I'm
on my
happy to
staff
help.
here. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. For Andrew. Either
Okay.
Andrew or somebody on my staff definitely knows
Okay.
how to do the QR code.
Thank
So I
you.
sure don't.
So
Yeah.
can I get the link as soon as it's available?
Yeah, I'll send it to everybody once it's up and out. Again, it probably isn't going to be till Friday based on Emmanuel's schedule, but I will send it out to everybody once we're live.
And is there going to be a web page on the concordma.gov site that points to this, or are we going to just provide the SurveyMonkey link directly?
I'm going to have Donna put something on the website. I think there's usually kind of a banner, at the top for current stuff. I'm just taking a quick peek now to see.
Yeah, that's your best place on your website.
Usually under news and notices or something like that. Is that?
Yeah,
Right.
there's the spotlight on the right-hand side. We have the bias and hate focus group discussion that's expired. That was yesterday, but
that spotlight is going to link to the SurveyMonkey thing, not to another page within the site that links to the SurveyMonkey thing.
right, it'll take you right to the survey.
Okay.
And then same thing with the news flash. There could be something there, and then I think Donna can tag it so it stays at the top for a while as well. So
Okay.
I'll work with her on all of that.
And Emmanuel, is the link that you showed us already going to be the same link that's used for the survey when it's done?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It might get, once I edit, it might get a new link.
Right.
So I'm
Okay.
not sure if it's the
All right.
same one.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else for Emmanuel? Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Nice to
thank
see
Moving
you
you all.
right
very
along.
much.
It's looking good.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
for all the
you.
hard
Take
work.
care. Thanks,
All right.
Emmanuel.
Take care. Have a good night.
So
All right,
let me
yeah,
ask,
this-
I was a little late coming on. Did you all approve the minutes from last time?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Jean is
I'm
taking
sorry,
them tonight.
Jess, I cut you off.
That's okay. In terms of just other updates on this project, so you obviously heard Emmanuel say the site visits are starting this week, which is great. I also had a message from the state. They asked for a whole just status update check-in on where we're at, and I provided that. And I have to say, I was kind of impressed at how much progress we've made, because it went all the way back to getting our RFP out, getting the bids, awarding the contract. So I feel like we're in good shape with the state as well. So things are definitely motoring along.
Well, and that's kudos to you and Jennifer for making sure that all happened and happened very quickly.
Yes, that was huge. And I couldn't have done it without Jennifer for sure. So of course she's gone now. She had to step off the call, but
Jennifer has another meeting that she's at right now. My board is meeting, and a couple of them keep coming in to ask me a question, which is why I've gone off screen a couple of times. Janet, did you have a comment?
No, I was applauding whatever comment was made about, I'd forgotten what it was even, but I was expressing my approval of whatever somebody was saying.
All right, and Justine?
Yeah, I had a question on one of the discussions that we had dating back to January. I wasn't sure if there were any updates regarding site planning and trying to get the commission involved in getting the commission involved earlier as part of the approval process for site planning and design review. I didn't know who that sat with, and if there was any update that could be shared.
Me done nothing on that. So that's on me. That's on me. I'm going to assume it was me. I'll have to go back and check the January meeting, but that would have.
I don't think we I'm looking at the minutes right now. I don't think we formally assigned it to anyone. So.
What was our process for that? I feel like Jennifer had and I can't.
I thought so too, Laura, but.
Yeah, I don't know if it was totally on your shoulders, Jessica.
Well, thank you. Usually if it's anything involving like contacting staff or asking any questions, I'm like, oh, it's probably on me, but obviously I've been consumed with our grants, but I've made note of that. So, and yeah, I remember Jennifer did have a lot of comments, and I remember like something about like every other town, there's somebody on the Disability Commission that is involved with permits. And so, yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Okay, so it's 6:22. Is there appetite to talk about the resources bank ideas, or do we want to postpone that? If we postpone it, maybe we're best off to postpone it until after this whole process is done with the ADA survey.
An agenda sort of resource for that, Gina, or was this just an open discussion?
So we had talked about trying to put together a resources bank to go on the town's website. Right. And I put it on the agenda for today because I set everything else aside last month, and I didn't want to lose it. And I also didn't want the people who were speaking very favorably about it to feel like, their voices didn't matter in terms of the commission's work.
I guess I'm just wondering, was that something I was supposed to prepare for, which I did not do?
I don't think that was assigned specifically to anyone.
Gotcha. Sorry, Justine, you had your hand up.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. No, I think I just never lowered it. But to that point, I think developing that resource bank, which I think came out of Peter's sharing of the document he created. I feel like part of the responses we get back from this survey might help direct this commission to what resources people would value having more access to. So maybe there's some benefit to getting the results of this survey to help shape that. But
Yes, that's a great point. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, Justine. I think um, getting that information can help us with thinking more about what we want to do. And also I feel like, especially if we're going to be trying to get those surveys out, everybody's hands are pretty full right now. So maybe we just postpone this, not quite indefinitely, but until the whole survey or the whole ADA project is done. And then we use that information and go from there. Does that sound?
Yeah, maybe the minutes could say something like, you know, we'll update it pending survey results or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Well, I
start the
think
conversation.
probably pending the whole project.
Is the resource bank like disability resources locally? And would we ever add a question to the survey to say, is there just to get more heads in the room than ours? Or we don't want to
Good.
make the
Well,
survey any
yeah,
longer?
I'm kind of like, well, do we want to make the survey longer and
Cool.
then don't want to do
Stay
it?
focused. Stay focused. Okay, I got it.
Okay, okay. All right. Somebody else had a hand up. I'm sorry, I didn't, out of the corner of my eye, see. Oh, Janet. You're muted, Janet.
It wasn't me who had the hand up, but I just realized that I was looking around and I realized that Karen is taking the minutes today, but we had this discussion before you came, Jean. I'm tired of doing the minutes and Karen offered to do it, so, I mean, we strong-armed her. But I'd love to pass this off into somebody else, if anybody else wants to do it.
Okay. All
And
right.
Karen wasn't enthusiastic, but she agreed to do them today.
Yeah, Karen's had a stint of it as well.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I know. I got it for
yeah.
her.
I'm happy to take it on after I took notes relative to what I wanted to take away today, but I'm happy to take it or do it, trade off with someone.
Yeah, and I could be in the rotation too. I'll
Okay.
help out.
Well, so Justine will have you for April and Peter for May.
Yeah, we can trade. I don't mind doing once, every season, but
yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Who gets the Zoom summaries?
Usually whoever's taking the minutes, I will send them the video and the transcription of the meeting, which helps. Tonight will be good for Karen because we're all on Zoom. So the transcript will actually say the name of the person and what they said. Whereas when we're all in the room, it looks like the person hosting the Zoom, usually me, has done all the talking and having a conversation with myself. So if you've taken, decent notes, you can then kind of cobble together from that transcript, but it'll definitely be a lot easier tonight. So Karen, you picked a good night
Jessica,
to do them.
are you talking about the transcript?
Yes.
Or are you talking about the Zoom AI summary?
Usually I just send the transcript. I'm not sure if I've ever done the AI summary.
Well, it's being recorded. There is a summary that's being recorded now.
Mm.
So there's a summary that becomes available. I don't know who it goes to.
It would go to our account, so I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah,
it might show up in the same spot that the video and the transcript shows up too. So
yeah, I was going to ask whether we're allowed to use those sorts of things because they're incredibly good and thorough.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like everything, it
drift.
requires, some reading and tweaking. Like you don't want to just take whatever that summary or the transcript, and just say, hey, here's the minutes. But I mean, it can definitely do a good lion's share of the work for people. And I know others are using that technology with their meeting minutes. So yeah, whatever I can find, I'll send along, Karen. Okay.
The AI output is fabulous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great at summarizing things and pulling out the salient points.
And it captures a lot of the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So Jessica, you're familiar with them.
I have seen other people using them. I just have to figure out how to access it in our Zoom account, but it would come to me and be in our Zoom account. So I'll see what I can find.
I would imagine that maybe I need to find out about this, but I would imagine you could send the summary to all of us.
I could, but if there's something that's not correct in it, like that's
Yeah.
what I would,
So-
that's what I would want to be careful of. Because then
When
whoever's
I-
doing the minutes can review it and make sure that it accurately reflects the meeting.
Yeah.
When I did the minutes in January, just for everybody's benefit, I took the recording, plugged it into an AI tool and said, summarize this, but you have to have, the human intervention because some of it wasn't accurate takeaways. And to Jessica's point, like today's recording will be a lot more direct because the transcript will show who's speaking. But when we are in the room, that's where when you feed it through an AI tool, it kind of loses the context of the conversation because it assumes it's all coming from one person. But it definitely helps with some of the lift and, bullet pointing and creating the formatting for it. So say if folks are comfortable, like why not leverage it? Right. It's a public meeting, so you're not giving away anything confidential, right?
Exactly. Like I said, unless, that summary is not 100% accurate, then it's like in an email, somebody could be like, oh, I requested this and this is what they, I get really squirrely about the public record piece.
I've been using it for, I agree with you, Jessica, it needs some minor corrections, but I've been using it for, I don't know, 18 months or more, and it's gotten a lot better over time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
especially
the wave
right.
of the future. Wave of the future for sure.
Right. Okay, so we have a date for the next meeting, April 9th. Would you like to have it back at Minuteman Arc? Have it hybrid again? What's your pleasure, commissioners?
Hybrid is certainly my pleasure. Just because of mobility issues.
I'm happy to join at the ARC if other folks are interested in doing that.
I'll try to be there.
I can go in person.
Okay,
I'll have to be remote.
I
so,
vote
all
for
right,
Zoom if it's possible.
right. So we'll do hybrid and we'll have the in-person part at Minuteman Arc. And we'll be either on screen or around the table.
Excellent.
It will help, I believe, if there's people around the table, if they state their name. So Zoom will capture who's speaking.
Okay,
Don't they already do that, Robert?
They do, in this case, yes, absolutely.
I
Because,
didn't tell them my name and here it is.
yeah, because your name's with your video. I see your name.
You
It
mean
knows
if there's
that's-
5 people in the room and they're all talking at different times?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. Anything else?